to instruct an agent versus self-managing. Every landlord faces this decision at some point. Should I manage my rental property myself or hand it over to a letting agent? It's not a straightforward choice, and the right answer depends entirely on your circumstances, your experience, and what you value most, whether that's control, time, or peace of mind. Let's break down the real costs and benefits of each approach beyond the obvious fee structure. The true cost of self-management. Most landlords are drawn to self-management by the savings. Letting agent fees typically range from 8 to 15% of your monthly rent, which can feel substantial when you're watching every penny of your yield. But here's what many first-time self-managers underestimate. Your time has value and the learning curve is steep. Self-management means you're responsible for tenant finding, referencing, right to rent checks, drafting compliant tenancy agreements, arranging safety certificates, organising maintenance, handling repairs at potentially inconvenient hours, chasing late rent, managing deposits through a protection scheme, and staying current with constantly evolving landlord legislation. If you're working full-time, factor in the opportunity cost. Those hours spent dealing with a boiler breakdown on a Sunday evening or researching the latest selective licensing requirements could be spent on your career, your family, or additional property investments. For many portfolio landlords, self-managing multiple properties simply isn't scalable. That said, if you're hands-on, live nearby, enjoy property management, or are building expertise for a growing portfolio, self-management can be incredibly rewarding. You'll develop direct relationships with your tenants, have complete control over contractor selection and spending, and gain invaluable knowledge about what makes a letting run smoothly. What you're really paying for with an agent. Yes, you're paying for their time and their expertise, but the value proposition goes deeper than that. A good letting agent brings established systems for everything, from marketing your property across multiple portals to conducting thorough tenant referencing. That reduces your risk of arrears or problem tenants. They have relationships with vetted contractors who can often respond more quickly than if you're searching on your own. And they understand the legal framework inside and out, crucial when regulations like the Renters' Rights Act are reshaping the sector. Perhaps most valuably, an agent creates distance between you and your tenant. When difficult conversations arise about rent increases, deposit deductions, or lease violations, having a professional intermediary can prevent relationships from becoming acrimonious. Agents are also experienced in handling the emotional aspects of evictions or disputes, which many landlords find draining. The protection of professional indemnity insurance is another consideration. If an agent makes an error that costs you money, you have some recourse. If you make that same error while self-managing, you bear the full consequences. However, not all agents deliver equal value. A poor agent who's unresponsive, chooses unsuitable tenants, or fails to conduct proper inspections can cost you more than their fees. That is why choosing the right agent matters as much as the decision to use one at all. So, when self-management makes sense. Self-management is often the right choice if you have a single property, live locally, maybe within about 30 minutes. You have a flexible work schedule. You might even work from home. You might possess some DIY skills or establish contractor relationships. You might even genuinely enjoy the hands-on involvement, or you're in the building knowledge for a portfolio expansion. It's also worth considering if your property is let to someone you know personally, such as a family member, where the formal agent-tenant dynamic would feel somewhat unnecessary. Long-term tenants who are reliable and low maintenance can also make self-management significantly easier than dealing with high turnover. When an agent is going to be worth every penny. Instructing an agent becomes increasingly sensible if you own multiple properties where self-management becomes unscalable. You might live far from your rental property, Work is demanding, working full-time hours with limited flexibility. You might have little interest in or even aptitude for property management tasks, or you just want to minimise stress and emotional involvement. First-time landlords often benefit enormously from an agent's guidance while they're learning the ropes. The peace of mind alone can justify the cost, particularly if you're anxious about compliance or even confrontation. Additionally, if your property is the HMO, it could be a student let or otherwise complex, the additional regulatory burden often tips the scales towards professional management. The cost of getting it wrong with licensing, with safety requirements and tenant management can outweigh agent fees at times. There's even the hybrid approach. There's a middle ground that many experienced landlords find optimal. Tenant find only services. Here, this is where you pay an agent a one-off fee to market your property, conduct viewings, reference the tenants and set up the tenancy. You then manage the ongoing relationship yourself. This approach captures most of the value agents provide while keeping ongoing costs low. It works particularly well if you're confident in day-to-day management but want professional help with the highest risk element, choosing that right tenant. Making your decision. Consider these questions honestly. How much is your free time worth per hour? How far away do you live from the property? How confident are you in understanding landlord legislation and compliance? How comfortable are you with confrontation and difficult conversations? Do you have reliable contractors you can call on at short notice? Can you respond to maintenance emergencies promptly, including evenings and weekends? For many landlords, the answer changes over time. You might start by self-managing to save money and learn the business and then switch, maybe to an agent as your portfolio grows or your life circumstances change. Others go to the opposite direction, using an agent initially while building confidence, then taking over management once they understand the process. So, the bottom line. There's no universally correct answer. A landlord with a single property, limited free time, a demanding career will likely find an agent's fees represents excellent value. Meanwhile, a semi-retired landlord with 3 properties, good DIY skills and time to spare might find self-management both financially rewarding and personally satisfying. The key is being honest about what you're capable of and what you actually want from your investment. Some landlords love the involvement and the control. Others view property as a passive income stream and resent every minute spent on management tasks. Calculate the hard costs, yes, but also factor in the softer elements such as your stress levels, your available time, and whether you genuinely enjoy this work. The best choice is the one that allows you to run everything smoothly.